And
It's the most wonderful sign of the year.
with its fire that's roasting,
It's archers that are
boasting, it brings in good
cheer.
It's the most wonderful sign of the year. So, welcome to this episode of Full
Moon
Moxie, where we are going to be talking all about our favorite sign of
Sagittarius and the full moon that is in December.
Gemini.
Whoop, 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 whoop.
This is our yin and yang moment of the year. It is our yin and yang time. We are sister signs, and this is our major synchronicity, bringing us right into one of my favorite times of the year.
And there's more.
Oh, there's more.
There's always more. But yes, it's one of the most festive times of the year. Yes, there's some people who do struggle this time of the year, and my heart goes out to them. But oh my goodness, it's Sagittarius season. Also, holiday season, which doesn't have to be spent with your blood family, can also be spent with your chosen family. And I think that's my most favorite part.
Same, especially as a very queer person. The other day, my bestie was over and we were playing video games, and we always listen to music while we do that. And he was like, "What should we listen to?" And I was like, "How about something festive?" And we both agreed on Rent, because
I love that. I was going to go for Wicked for a second, but you went Rent. All right.
yeah, because to me, Rent is Christmas music.
Okay, do say more.
December 24th, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. From here on in, I shoot without a script.
You know, there's so many movies that are like Christmas movies that I never connect as Christmas movies, like, Die Hard. And
Yeah. Yeah,
there's a
definitely.
few others that I'm like, oh, this is technically taking place around Christmas time. Wow.
Is it bad that I've never seen Die Hard?
No. Although there is like the Muppet version of Die Hard.
Oh my gosh, I need to watch that.
Yeah, there's one of my friends that I went to school with. She's a puppeteer too. And so she puppeteers Die Hard
That's so
like
incredible.
on the theater stage. So
That's
it's supposed to be
awesome.
quite comical.
I love a Muppet. I don't know if you heard this, but Emma Stone and Jennifer Lawrence are producing a dark and sassy Miss Piggy movie.
I did not hear that. What?
Yes, I'm very excited. That's all I know about it. Jennifer
I need
Lawrence
more.
talked about it on one of my favorite podcasts, Las Culturistas. That one is so funny, and I was like, I need this in my life like yesterday.
Yeah, is it gonna be an actual movie or is it gonna be like a play?
No, it's gonna be actual film.
Wow.
Like a Miss Piggy biopic is what it sounds like it's gonna be. But, like, don't quote me. I don't know.
Okay, I look forward to it.
I look forward to it as well.
It sounds chaotic.
Yeah, sounds like chaotic good to me.
Mhm,
Yeah,
mhm.
yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. And my other favorite Muppet movie is A Muppet's Christmas Carol, which is definitely a Christmas movie.
Oh, clearly.
I remember just being a child and, like, that was my morality, I was like, "Oh, this all makes sense now.
Clicking.
Okay, okay, okay. Cool, cool, cool. Teach me more."
Right? No, one of my traditions is, like, I always love watching, the Santa Claus around Thanksgiving time.
I love that.
Yeah, yeah, and Home Alone. Those are, like, my 2 go-to Christmas and Elf, how could you forget?
I feel like, and I'm gonna do it this weekend, and you're more than welcome to come, but one of my favorite like fall traditions that I haven't done yet is to do a Twilight movie marathon.
You know, Twilight has been making a small little comeback, and I'm not mad at it. I mean, when the movies first came out, I kinda was like I scoffed at it a bit. I was like, "Oh my god, this is terrible." But, like, the nostalgic part of me now that I'm so far removed from it.
It's so bad it's good, is what it is. Okay, first
Yeah.
of all, we have a young K-Stew.
Honestly, K-Stew has
Yeah.
blowed up.
Lesbian royalty, ugh, K-Stew.
Have you seen her ghost show that she's,
Yeah, the
produced?
paranormal one. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, love
It like, I need another season.
yeah, absolutely.
If
Okay.
anybody's listening to this, I need another season.
So that's who we're dealing with here. We're dealing with young K-Stew. We're dealing with Robert Pattinson, who, for as weird as he is extremely talented, right? We've got, I can't tell you the cinematography in the film. Okay,
Fair.
the blue lighting, like
Fair. Like, can I tell you the truth, though?
it's
I've
a movie.
only watched the first 2. I haven't watched any of the other ones, so I probably need to join in on this
Yeah.
marathon just so I can catch up because I read all the books.
Yeah. Well, my house Saturday, we will be starting, I would say probably around like 5, and then
Okay.
we'll go into the evening. I don't know if we'll get through all of the films, but we'll get
Mhm.
through enough of them.
Mm.
And then we can finish them because there's nothing that brings me more joy than watching that moment when they're like she's running towards Jacob Black
Mhm.
and he says, "Where the hell have you been, Mocha?" That is the best line. It's the best line ever. It just brings me joy. Taylor Lautner, national treasure that he is.
Wherever he went.
He actually has a podcast with
No
his
kidding.
wife, who is named
Bella?
Taylor.
Oh,
They're both well, she's Tay and he's Taylor.
kinda like he
Yeah.
never got over dating Taylor Swift.
I don't think so. They're obsessed with Taylor Swift. So Tay and Taylor are obsessed with
Huh.
Taylor Swift, and their podcast is actually really good. It's called The Squeeze,
Mm.
and it's a mental health podcast.
Interesting.
Yeah, so check it out.
Hmm. Hmm. I might. I might just.
Mhm. So back to the moment,
Of
the
truth.
sign of the hour.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit more about the sweet, fiery sign of Sagittarius.
Oh, sweet indeed. So, not only is it the best sign, but it's the sign of optimism, of luck, of bluntness.
You don't say.
There's some pros and cons, but that's part of being the philosopher, which this sign is all about being, is the sign of philosophy. And I was kind of thinking about it today and just kind of this beautiful story that the zodiac weaves. So if you think about it, we go from the internal work, or if you will, like shadow work of the sign of Scorpio, and then you go into this almost clumsy but jovial sign of like, "Oh, I've done the work," of Sagittarius, of like, "Alright, I've done the work, but I'm gonna share the work not knowing whose toes I step on or how much I accidentally kick myself in the ass," right? And then from there, you go into putting that work into action when we enter Capricorn, who we know that I love Capricorns.
I love a cap too.
Like, oh, fangirling over here.
When you're talking about Sagittarius, I don't know why, but I'm picturing like if I had to picture a movie for Sagittarius, it's
Mhm.
Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
I don't think I've seen that.
What?
Yeah.
It's Hunter S. Thompson. So he was just a
What
drug
year?
what year did it come out? Probably I'm gonna call it late 90s. Brad Pitt played Brad Pitt? Is it Brad Pitt or is it Johnny? No, it's Johnny. I think it's
It's
Johnny Depp.
Mr. Depp.
It's Johnny Depp. Come on, not Brad Pitt. Very different.
Very I mean, they're kind of like, they're like imagine them as twins,
Yeah.
but one's the dark, skulky emo twin, and the other one is also skulky, but more prep boy.
Well, speaking of twins, Johnny Depp and I share a birthday, so I should have known that. Okay.
No.
Yeah, he is a gem.
So back on to Sagittarius, but that kind of leads me into like, it's the sign of knowledge. It's the philosopher. It's based off of the story of Chiron. Do you know much about Chiron? Like
No.
that tale.
No, I don't tell me more, please.
So Chiron is the wounded healer, and it was really interesting. I pulled up this one article from Psychology today, and what is really interesting about psychology is like how you can kind of tie in all these archetypes and all these stories, and how you know ancient myth isn't just like, oh, what a great story, but can also teach us lessons. So the story of Chiron is he is a centaur who was created out of wedlock, um, from I believe it was Kronos. So he's technically Zeus's half brother. So Kronos is the father of Zeus and all the other Olympians.
Heard.
And
Okay.
so Chiron, he is Kronos's love child. So he is born this centaur, which a centaur is half human, half horse. So we got 4 legs, 2 arms, lots of abs.
I mean, yeah, like who could be a hot centaur without abs? Let's be real.
I mean,
He's gonna have
yeah,
like a 12 pack.
absolutely. He has this wisdom to him. He is really deep into learning from some of the greats. He gets really big into philosophy, into the medical sciences. He was kind of pseudo adopted by Apollo, who kind of to tie it in with Sagittarius and Gemini. being sister signs, Apollo is one of the representations of Gemini, so it's like Apollo and Artemis. I'm like, "How interesting this connection of Apollo and Chiron, Gemini, Sagittarius." I was like, "Oh my gosh," my brain was going on fire. Um, but anyway, so being that he is part god, he's also immortal, and he is sought after as a super wise tutor. He's really above and beyond when it comes to the centaurs. And one day, darling Hercules, he brings some wine into a centaur party. And centaurs are known for enjoying libations and getting a little wild. So things got a little wild. Hercules panics. He dips his arrow in the blood of the Hydra, which is poisonous, and he shoots. And poor Chiron, who was Hercules' teacher, his friend, gets caught in the misfires and gets shot by this arrow and is in agonizing pain. Now, since he's immortal, he can't die. He's like, I'm going to be faced with this pain for all eternity, and it's just unbearable. And so Hercules pleads to his father Zeus, Chiron's half brother, to like help him out. Also, where I was reading, he like works out a deal with Prometheus. If that's another
Yeah.
story for another time. But
I do know about Prometheus.
yeah,
Poor Prometheus.
right. Well, so this is almost like a 2-for-1 special. So, um, Chiron basically, I don't want to live anymore. This is just unbearable pain. Send me to the stars. So, like, Zeus grants him and immortalizes him into the stars, which now is the sign of Sagittarius. And then Prometheus, he actually somehow Hercules batted his eyes the right way to his dad, and Prometheus got rid of his punishment.
So that's why Sagittarius is the archer.
That's part of the reason. Yeah.
Interesting.
Um, but so kind of back to this psychology today, they looped it in as the story of Chiron is the story of two wounds. So Chiron, he lived with being the child of a rape victim. He was the spawn of this very traumatic incident, and like how we can carry on these wounds genetically and from our just how we were made, right? But instead of kind of succumbing to it and like having this wound fester within him, he switched it for good and really got into the healing arts, especially when it came to medicine.
It's interesting that you say that because, the science behind genetic trauma getting passed down is that we all
Mhm.
carry our mother's mitochondrial DNA.
Right.
And so that's,
It's a beautiful story.
it's beautiful. It's beautiful and it's deep. And I love that.
And then his second wound is kind of that wound of like that super ego. So Hercules being the super ego, um, firing when he was in panic, succumbing to the id, but also just kind of that um, betrayal, even though it was accidental, of that friendship, of that panic. And it's a beautiful, like, Chiron as a whole is a beautiful depiction of this duality in us, right? So, like, he's 2 different species, so this internal conflict that we often fight with ourselves, between, do I succumb to, like, my genetic trauma or, like, the fact that I'm half horse, half human, this pain that I'm in? The story also kind of paints the modern day taboo when it comes to elected euthanasia, so when people wanna elect to, like, die with dignity. Yeah, so it's kind of this really beautiful story all around the wounded healer, which is kind of an oxymoron in and of itself. Now, that's a long-winded story to kind of describe a little bit of the sign of Sagittarius. So, shall I go back to the fun stuff?
Well, I just want to say what I think is also beautiful about that is the reason that you and I and many Sagittarius and Gemini pairs get along so well is because we are the yin yang, right?
Right, we have a bad rap as that at that.
And we have, what you're talking about just reminds me of like the duality. Like, even today in the office, one of my best friends is Sagittarius. We were celebrating her birthday.
Oh, happy birthday to her.
Yeah, happy birthday. Shout out Blair. She'd hate this. Yeah, so we were talking, and one of the girls in the office said, are you a May Gemini or a June Gemini? And I said, which one do you think I am? And she said,
Mm.
May. And I was like, why? Because June Geminis are crazy. And she was like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, nope, I'm a June Gemini. I get that a lot, but it's because we have that duality inside of us. It's because people feel like they can't pin us down and that makes people uneasy, but that doesn't mean that we're
Crazy.
crazy or dishonest or no, I think it's like indecisive. It's like the same way people talk about bisexuals, right? They talk
Mm.
about Geminis, like, oh, they're so indecisive. Oh,
Right, they just can't choose.
they just can't choose. They're so chatty. Like, no,
Like, they'll stab you in the back.
we can just be Geminis. You can just be bisexual. Like, it's okay. It's okay.
Bless. Which I'm glad you brought that up, that difference between May Gemini versus June Gemini, because I kind of break down a little bit too, the differences between November Sagittarians and December Sagittarians, because there is a really big difference. For one, November Sages are typically a little bit more on the reserve side. They're more philosophical, not necessarily more so introvert, but they're not necessarily stealing the spotlight. They're still gonna be just as blunt. They're very lucky. Take that however you want. They still have no filter, but they are very optimistic, introspective, spontaneous, and very eager to learn. Whereas December Sagittarius is, and they kind of break up into two categories. So the first part of December, and then the second part with the 13th through the 21st. The first half of December, they're very outspoken, uh, which and impulsive, still cheerful, but they're also ruled by Mars. So typically Sagittarius, you talk about Sagittarius and it's like it's ruled by Jupiter, and the November Sages are fully and completely ruled by Jupiter. Whereas when we get into December, it kind of splits the ruling. So the first half of December Sagittarius, they're ruled by both Mars and Jupiter, so they're more action oriented. They're going to be more blunt, more outspoken. Um, find ways to get their way, basically. Kind of like the wild childs, right? And then the second part of December, that's where we have the ones that are also ruled by the sun, co-ruled by the sun. So they are the ones that are dancing on the bar, getting the spotlight, very loud, very boisterous. Uh, they're charismatic. They're usually your what's it called? What's it called? They're your natural leaders.
You know who is that kind of a Sagittarius?
Who?
You mentioned her earlier on the podcast. Taylor Swift.
That's right. That's right. And it makes sense. And so she really draws people into her. Uh, look at all of her success all of a sudden. Not all of a sudden, but like throughout her career, right?
Well, I think that's a good point actually, because she's been like just consistently producing banger after banger after banger for years. And then she comes out a couple of years ago with the Eras tour, and really the success just booms to a whole new level. So it feels like it's all the summoning, but just like you're saying, it's something that she's been paving the work on. It's like written in the stars for her to
Right.
be that.
And if you think about it too, like these latter half Sagittarians, they're on that cusp of Capricorn. So who is very much the business person
Taylor Swift,
of
right?
the
Yeah.
zodiac. It's very important to know because oftentimes people who like to negate the authenticity of astrology, which is one of the oldest sciences and maths that we have as humans, but that's an argument for another day. They're like, oh, well, I just don't relate to my sign. Well, there's a whole giant spiel again for another day. May versus June Gemini, two different things. November versus December Sagittarius, two different things. It's how that pool of those planets affect you on top of all the other aspects within your chart.
Absolutely.
Uh,
100%.
Thank you. Thank you. So a few last things about darling Sagittarius, the body part that it rules. Do you want to guess?
If I had to. Okay, Sagittarius. I feel like it's got something fiery, so it could be some kind of sex organ.
That's Scorpio, but
It could be your heart.
oh, that's cute.
That's what it rules
Well,
for
think
me.
about the animal. So it has a lot of what?
The animal hair.
Honestly, if a sign ruled the hair, I would say that'd be Leo. Like, let's be
Oh,
real.
Leo definitely rules the hair. You're right. You're right. Oh my gosh. Oh my
Got
god.
her known as Leo with bad hair.
Yeah, seriously.
So,
Like that Gilderoy Lockhart hair.
like,
Swish swish.
let's be honest.
Yeah.
But no, Sagittarius rules the thigh specifically.
Oh, that is kind of spicy.
You know, I mean, yeah. So rules the thighs, and the chakra that's most associated with Sagittarius is the solar plexus. Which, if you think about the Sagittarius very action motivated, very into knowledge, very optimistic. One of the key phrases for the solar plexus or Manipura is "I can."
I absolutely can.
Yeah.
I absolutely can.
And this chakra rules willpower, self-esteem, confidence, and motivation.
Is that why you guys are all like that?
What?
Just so, like, I'm here, I'm fiery, get used to it?
I mean, yeah. I'm gonna bias and say, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying the same way that I could pick out a Scorpio, and it might be because you guys are my sister sign, I can pick out a Sag. And even, like, today, like I told you about my friend, we were celebrating her birthday.
Mhm.
There's another guy on my team, I get along with him very well, and, as I was coming in today, his birthday sign was up on his desk, and I was like, "Of
I
course."
knew
I
it.
even wrote in his little birthday card, "Of course you're a Sagittarius, because 'cause you're fire."
I could be biased, but one of my healthiest, most, healthy learning and flourishing relationships was with another fellow Sagittarius. I'm just
Are you
saying.
serious? Because I had an absolutely horrendous relationship with a Gemini once.
I mean, that's a Gemini, but, Sagittarians are highly compatible with other Sagittarians.
So wild. You guys just, like, start setting things on fire, and you're just like,
I mean, he was a firefighter.
"Oh."
It was fantastic. Um, but yes. Now, would you like to throw in anything before we talk about this full moon?
As I was as I was reflecting on some of the transits that are happening right now, I have to give the biggest shout out ever to the transit that has just been the transit I needed, the transit we all needed as a collective, and that is that Mercury and Saturn are now stationed direct. Woo, we made it. You made it through. It's okay. It's gonna be good. That was our last one of
The
the
year.
year. Now it's smooth sailing. If you're feeling a little bit of relief, that's what's going on. I know I'm feeling a little bit of relief. Last week was a very hard week for me. Thanksgiving's not a great week for me. I work in hospitality, so I get myself nice and distracted by just working through the holiday, which is
Mm.
awesome. And then at the end of it, I started to feel like super drained. Like, I mean, like Sunday, I took a nap and
There's just no nourishing for
yeah.
yourself and not just food nourishing, but just mind and rest.
Even, like, on the day, dude, I finally stopped to eat dinner and my stomach was just wrecked, and I was like, "I don't know why my stomach's wrecked," and it was just it just was everything. So on Sunday, I finally, like, laid down and I took it, like, n the longest, nicest nap with Clementine, and, like, we woke up
I
from
love
it
that for the both of you.
yeah, 3 hours later, like, in a coma and, like, looked at each other and we're like, "Ah," like, the deep breath of all deep breaths, you know?
Yeah. I feel like we need a new name for that long extended nap, maybe Noma.
I'll take it.
I'll take a
I
Noma.
had a Noma today. So that's the biggest transit that's happening. It also what's happening this week is tomorrow on Tuesday,
Mhm.
we have a transit where Venus is going to sextile Pluto, and this is a really great transit for passion and art and
Hmm.
it's going to be one that as
Passion knit art or
passion art.
passion,
No, no, no.
comma art.
Passionate art. So, like, something that you can throw, like, your fire sign into your creative. Something that would just be, like, setting ablaze to your art, whatever that is. If it's a song, it's gonna be a song that really throws out all those emotions. If it's writing, you're writing some kind of revolutionary text. If it is painting, you're gonna paint something that's just kind of, like, in your face and all over the place. Like, this
Mhm.
is a great time to really just process and get out all of those feelings and emotions that have kind of been laying dormant and lead us to that full moon in Gemini that is occurring later in the week. That's really going to help you process that stuff that's deep, dark down so that when that full moon comes, you're really ready for that really good release.
See, and I really feel like that these dual signs, kind of like Gemini, really help break up some of that ick. Because yes, it's so wonderful. It's so great to do all this shadow work and this deep internal work, but it's just as great to have a way to really break it up afterwards. Not just process it, but I mean, the best way I can think of is how sometimes you have to do a chore that you really don't like.
Yeah.
whether it's laundry or going through your bills, like taxes.
Dude, I live alone. I'm a
Taxes.
single person. I live alone. I do all the chores I don't wanna do.
Yeah, but, like, imagine doing your taxes unless you're one of those weirdos who really enjoys it, and no offense, we need you in this world, um, but doing your taxes and then after doing your taxes, going for a walk. So, like, I feel like a full moon in Gemini really helps, especially as we're transitioning into, like, this deep darkness of winter, at least in the Northern Hemisphere,
Yeah.
can be that really nice candle for us.
Absolutely. And I mean, for me, like, it's a really full circle moment for me because back in May, May 27th of this year, we had a new moon in Gemini. And that was a really interesting time for me because I was reflecting on this earlier today as I was thinking about tonight. And it was when I dipped my toe back into trying dating for the
Oh,
first time.
was that really only back in May?
Yeah, yeah, it was short-lived, and actually what we did learn from it, I think that I kind of I'm not gonna speak for her, but I think that I helped kind of Sherpa her into this period of her dating life, and I think she helped me to process through some of the grief and trauma I had from my relationship, and, like, we've come out of it, and we're super good friends, and, like, we get coffee and we talk, and I really am enjoying hearing about her dating escapades
That's
and,
so
like
beautiful, like, I feel
yeah.
like that's in of itself a sign of a healthy relationship and a healthy termination of a relationship.
I have to give it to her because I think she called it when it needed to be called. I
Mm.
think a lot of times relationships get to a point where the reason that they become unhealthy is because they've gone on for too long and they passed their point of where they're supposed to be, right?
Right,
And
and not to mention,
yeah,
like, there's a difference between actually working through your problems and working through things together as it's needed versus calling it quits. Because sometimes you just know, like, you just have that gut feeling where, like, "Oh, I should call it quits," and then we often, like, ignore our intuition and then just, like, for one reason or another, usually related to the ego, press forward with
absolutely.
something that we know is not right for us.
Well, and truly, like, I wasn't ready to start dating again, you know?
Mhm.
I think I just, like, I tried it because I felt like it's what I needed to do at the time, but I think that that's what it helped me to learn as well, and so I was reflecting on that a little bit earlier, and then I was also reflecting on the fact that as my relationship was closing out, I remember during that new moon ceremony sitting down and being like very intentionally like by the end of the next lunar cycle my house will be under contract. And like remember I wrote that little note
I
and
do.
it was like
Oh my gosh, and
yeah.
what a sign of, like, how to be super
Yeah.
specific.
I was, like, so super specific. It was like, "Okay, I'm gonna picture what the end of this lunar cycle looks like," and I was like, "My house will be under contract. It's gonna be this cute young couple." Like,
Mhm.
everything that I wrote into that manifestation came full circle. And, of
Ooh,
course, it
chills.
was Mercury retrograde during that time, so
Stop it.
it wasn't in May.
Chills.
It wasn't in May, but the Mercury retrograde came because remember the house went under contract and
Yeah, and then
then
came out and
came out and then went
yes, I
back
do
under
remember that
contract?
super but was that really this year?
It
No,
was.
dude, this year has, like,
Yeah.
been a blink.
Yeah, also, selling a house, most stressful thing I've ever done in my life.
Would not recommend.
Would not recommend. I mean, I would still wanna buy one again eventually, but, like, oh my goodness, like, that was just, like, so stressful, and so, I was reflecting on all of that, and I was like, "Okay, not only is this beautiful season that I love, full of celebrating all of these wonderful humans that I love. But now we're coming full circle in this moment that really helped me to have closure and healing in such a major way in my life. And now, like, I think it's really cool that I have this beautiful new place that I'm living in, and, like, I feel like I've finally gotten it to a spot where it's like I remember saying, like, I didn't want my house to be like a house, I wanted it to be like a little shroomy shack, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, that's, like now I walk in my little shroomy shack every day, and I'm like, "This is, like, me." You know? Like,
You know
everywhere
what?
I
I'm
look,
seeing it now.
you know what I
Yep.
mean? Everywhere I look, it's me, you know? Not that the last place wasn't me,
No, it was a
but
type of you,
it was
a version of
part
you.
of me.
Yeah.
This is full 100% me, and it just feels so comfy, and even, like, the way that Clementine is here now, it's like
She
she's
fully settled in.
settled. She's settled. She's like, "This is home. We like to leave, we like to go do our things, but at the end of the day, we like to come home."
Right. I remember you were worried for a while, not just for the change for yourself, but for the change of Clementine. I'm sure it feels really good
She's
to
a very particular dog.
she is, but she's so precious.
So fresh.
She needs some
I
pearls.
wish you guys could see her cuddled up right now. She's, like, curled in a ball, in a perfect little ball,
Oh, such
watching
a
over
cutie.
us like an angel.
from heaven.
So yeah, so that's really what I've been reflecting on with this full moon practice. So what I'd like to do, and one of the things I love to do for a full moon practice is a little fire ritual. So what I'd like to do is kind of reflect on what has happened since then and throw down everything else that still needs a little bit of release so that I can really clear the way because you know what? I'm not gonna throw it out there yet, but maybe 2026.
That's next year.
Yeah, maybe 2026, I might be ready to start dating again.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. We'll
Okay,
see. We'll
okay.
see. I'm
Well,
not.
there's a form of trust of just leaving it to the universe.
Yeah, I'm not completely against it. But I'm very happy being single. It's
I mean,
awesome.
I have to agree. Like, it's one of those it's such a fulfilling feeling. Fulfilling
You
feeling.
fulfill yourself.
Yes. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I enjoy being in a relationship when it's a good, healthy relationship, and not to say that, there's never a bad day when you're in a relationship, a good relationship. Like, there are bad days, so it's like healing from those bad days. So, like, I enjoy being in a healthy relationship. However, I love being confident in myself, and I feel so much more empowered being single too. And I feel like there's like there's power in that being like, all right, I'm not, biting my nails, praying on my knees, crying every night that I'm single and, sleeping alone in my bed.
Never.
I am like full starfish, like bent in all these different directions, taking up the entire bed and knowing like, all right, whoever I do start to date next, you know, they don't necessarily have to fill a hole that's within me.
I mean, maybe they could fill one.
They could feel like 1 or 2 or 3, I don't know.
3. I mean, you do you, boo. We don't kink shame in this house.
I'm just trying to put all the options out there.
No, 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 totally makes sense.
But what I'm saying is, like, I don't feel like I'm broken and need to be pieced together, like, they're not gonna be my puzzle piece,
Exactly.
like, I'm already a complete puzzle, and they can just be, like, my frame.
Well, yeah, that's a really good way to put it. And like for me, I think I had a lot of codependency to work through as a younger human. Like I came out at a time when I was young and I was poor and I was on my own and I think for a while getting coupled up was a financial security thing.
I mean, yeah,
You know,
like, the single text is real, I'm not gonna lie,
yeah.
not gonna sugarcoat it.
No, 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 facts. And I think the other thing about it is that I grew up in a house with a lot of addiction, and codependency is a very normal part of those kinds of structures, right?
Mhm,
And so it was what was normalized for me. But then once I learned through therapy to become dependent on myself,
mhm.
it's like now that I am like I go every 2 weeks to the flower shop and I buy myself flowers, and it is the most lovely thing that I'm doing for myself, and it is,
So
like
beautiful.
it's just beautiful, like, I'm dating me, and the next person that I date needs to be as awesome to me as I am to me, and
Right.
that is, like, a tall order, right? Because I know exactly what I want. I know exactly what I like. I know exactly, who I am, and I think that's the difference between, like, now me and past me,
Mhm.
and I'm so happy that I gave myself this like, it's been a year and a half, right, since I left my marriage.
Wow.
Think about that. It was July of 2024. And
Just how much has happened?
so it literally and the fact that other than that, like, little 2-month period that I've just let myself be single. Because after that, it's not like I was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm gonna go back to dating." I was like, "Heck no. No, thank you. I am good on dating," and not
Mhm.
because it was a bad experience. Again, it was a great experience, and, I wanted to continue to explore myself.
Right, you just want more single time, and that's okay.
And I think that single time is beautiful, and I encourage everyone to take some time to you and to just really full send believe in yourself, you know?
Right, like, I mean, you can still date yourself even in a relationship.
Yeah,
You can kind of embrace ethically some of that single energy of, like, dating yourself, building yourself up, and
absolutely.
really just loving who you are as you are.
100%. And I think also you can have relationships when you're single. they're not
Oh, of
romantic
course.
relationships, but, like, I was just also having this conversation at work today. Your friends are your relationships. Your coworkers are your relationships. Like,
Mhm.
relationality is not always sexual. It is not always romantic, you know?
Right, like, you build those relationships, Like, so you might just talk to your one person at the office, maybe you invite them out for coffee one day, like, really building those bridges.
Yeah, and that's how you really make those connections, and that's how you keep moving on up in the world.
Moving on up.
Yep.
Which that sense of community brings me into the full moon
Oh, yes.
that's coming up.
Well, welcome to the Gemini full moon.
So, do you know the name of this full moon?
No, 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 I wanted it to be a surprise. I love it when you do this part.
All right, so there's quite a few names, and I don't have them all listed. So, most commonly, the first full moon of December is called the cold moon, cold, like the cough or the temperature outside. So, tonight's moon is also known as the long night moon,
That is so scary.
right? And I'll kind of break it down. So, do you know why it is sometimes called the cold moon?
Is it because it's cold?
Yes, ding, 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 ding. Uh,
Not here.
I mean, it can happen.
I know, just like right now, it's not as chilly as it was on Samhain.
Right, right. That's a good point. Do you know why it's sometimes called long night moon?
It's probably because of the where we are in our orbit around the sun.
Kind of close, pretty close. Yeah, yeah. So in the northern hemisphere, the nights are getting ever shorter. Um, it's the full moon closest to the winter solstice, which is the shortest night of the year, which conversely is also the start of the days getting longer.
Thank God.
I know.
I hate it when the sun goes down early.
Like I love this time of
Yeah.
year, but like the darkness
I hate it. I hate driving away from work
and it's
and
dark.
watching the sun go down and then coming home and it's dark and like I can't even take Clementine for a walk. You know what I mean? It's just like it's so annoying.
Like I'm such a morning person. Like sun's up, I'm up, sun's down. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go.
Time to nap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or sleep forever. One of the two. Um, can you guess how much daylight is in the shortest day of the year?
12 hours?
Lower,
8 hours.
higher.
8.5 hours.
Okay, close. So 9 hours and 17 minutes of daylight.
Do you like that I went to the point five?
I
Like,
do. Like you were on the right track with the point fives. And this year's winter solstice is December 21st. Before I get too ahead of myself, some other names of this moon are drift clearing moon, which is a Cree name, as is frost exploding tree moon. Can you guess where that name came from?
frost exploding tree moon. Pokemon?
I like where you're going. I'll say the Oglala name of moon of popping trees. So if you think about it, the sounds of trees covered in frost.
Yeah,
So what I love about this moon is all these names are very literal.
I love it.
I'm like, oh my gosh,
We
just
don't got
it,
no we don't got
sorry,
no
cold moon.
beaver moon here
No, like why is it called a beaver? No, it's a cold moon. Why? It's
because
cold.
it's cold.
It's the long night moon. Some other names from Celtic traditions are the Yule moon and bear moon. So if you think about it, this is the time of year where the bears go into hibernation.
I am so envious of the bears
Me too. And of
because they
all
just
the
get to
animals
like
that do it.
eat and then sleep.
Yes, I want to be celebrated for getting fat.
You just get to like chill, like nom nom nom, and then
Mhm.
night night night. Like, can I be a bear?
Can next life. Maybe in this past life I was a bear, but I don't feel like it. I feel like maybe my future life. I don't know. That or some kind of like otter or something.
But you know that both of those are names for gay men.
Maybe
Maybe
past life I was a gay man.
yeah, that's what I was just to say. You were up there with Freddie Mercury, just
Hey,
hitting them high notes, hitting that falsetto.
I don't know. I'm nowhere near a falsetto even nowadays.
Yeah, but we're not talking about right now.
I know, I know. So some things that this moon represents are just kind of a time of remembrance, of celebrating the joy of the return of the sun once the winter solstice happens, of
Mm.
feasting, and of the cycle of life, death, and rebirth.
Ooh, that's so beautiful.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful. I love that. And it is one of my favorite things about winter. And I don't miss the seasons, but I do miss that
Don't.
about winter, whereas that, like, I remember being a little kid and winter would come and then, like, the spring would come and it was just, like, the most joyful thing ever. Like, the earth was, like, reawakening and you
Oh
were,
my
like,
gosh, yeah.
putting on your shorts and running outside and, like, screaming with your hands in the air. Like, you don't really get that here. You just get this, like, "Oh, now it's, like"
Less humid.
yeah, you know?
Hurricane season's over.
Woo! Can we celebrate that? Like,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Hurricane season.
Oh my
What?
goodness. When we consider, like, the grand scheme of it, it was
A pretty
pretty
everything just
quiet.
kept going out into the middle of the ocean.
That was really
That
weird.
was so bizarre.
The
I mean,
to
I'm sure scientifically we would explain it, but still,
I think the Tocobaga had her back.
I think so. I think so. Um, yeah, it's interesting that you were talking about the seasons because I was reflecting with my mom the other day. I'm like, I do miss kind of like that swiftness of the change. So I don't know if you remember how, like, you wake up one day and all the leaves of the trees are all these different colors. And then maybe at the end of the week, everything's gone. It's just like dead trees, right? Or hibernating trees. Um, and then on the reverse side, those last few days of winter, like you kind of see some buds, even though there might still be snow on the ground if there is snow in that area. Like just when these buds on the trees, and all of a sudden the snow is 98% gone and there's flowers on all these trees.
I do remember that. That's what I'm talking about.
Like it's so
It gets pretty
wild.
bleak in the middle, though. It gets pretty
Oh,
bleak,
it
like,
does. I do not miss snow. I do
I
not miss like winter,
yeah.
winter.
I remember my grandma passed away one January, and me and my sisters had to go back to Missouri, and we were like, literally the worst time to be in Missouri is January. It was freezing, and like we're Florida people now, so like we forgot, and like we left our drinks in the car. Like, I sent a picture to my friend. He goes, "This looks like where it was the color brown was created," and I was like, "Yeah, it is a really, really great."
Great color.
Great way to describe it because it wasn't even like there was like snow on the ground. It was just like ice and like dead leaves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like not even dead leaves. The dead leaves are gone. Just like ice and like dead grass. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, how beautiful.
How and Missouri is beautiful, but not in the wintertime.
Right. Well, the last little bit of information I have is this full moon coincides with da 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 the start of the Geminid meteor shower.
That's so pretty. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, we need to go outside. We need to have a fire. We need well, I am gonna have my Twilight movie marathon.
There you go. Perfect time. And so, especially because it's going to be the strongest shower of the year with the brightest, most intense little streaks through the sky. So, you're going to have like 120 little shooting stars within that hour. And it's also like with this one, you're going to be able to see it as early as 9 p.m. in the Northern Hemisphere, all
Beautiful.
over the Northern Hemisphere. Of course, dark skies are the best skies when it comes to viewing these things, but they're going to be bright, vibrant, colorful. They're going to be slow to medium moving. So you're really going to be able to like make those wishes.
So you're saying it's gonna be sparkling like Edward Cullen's face.
And then this fun fact, this shower stems from an asteroid actually named 3200 Phaethon.
Is it the big one?
It's
Is it the one that they keep talking about that might be a spaceship?
no.
Oh, okay.
No, this one comes to us almost every year, and why it's called the Geminid shower is because it looks like it's originating from the star sign of Gemini.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
You do know about the one that they think might be a spaceship,
I
right?
did hear about that, and I'm
Yeah.
so excited for them to prove that it is a spaceship. Not that I'm gonna be one of those people that's like, "Oh my god, hello aliens," because I saw Independence Day and I saw what happened to those people, so I'm not gonna do that. But
I mean, they could be here. I want you to know that I had the most lovely conversation with my nieces and my nephews. It was recently my little homie's ninth birthday, and we were hanging out, and I don't know how it came up, but somebody said they didn't believe in aliens. I
wait,
was like,
what? Like one of the children?
yeah. And I was like,
How do
"Well,
you not believe
what
in
do you mean
aliens?
don't believe in aliens?" And they all said, "We don't believe in aliens." You know,
Like
and I was
they're getting brainwashed in elementary school?
well, yeah, well, I brainwashed the heck out of them. Not just me. I was like, "Hey, Uncle Marty, do you believe in aliens?" He's like, "Well, it's statistically improbable that there aren't." And I was like, Thank you very much." And so we were talking about it, and I was like, "What about Elon Musk?"
He's an alien.
And they were like, I was like, "Think about it, guys. Do you really think somebody with a name like Elon is not an alien?" And my little nephew, he looks at me, he goes, "If you add an A to it, it's alien."
Stop. That's
And I was like,
Hilarious.
"Oh my gosh." So I think that I might have convinced my nieces and nephews that Elon Musk is an alien.
Damn. You should introduce them to ancient aliens next.
Oh, trust. Little homie's gonna be all over that.
Love it. Well, so that's pretty much all I have for you today. You know, Sagittarius season comes by once a year, so next year I'll give you a little bit more information. Same thing with the moons. Uh, don't want to give it all at once, right? So kind of like piece here, piece there, and as we have maybe a Sagittarius full moon or new moon, maybe some more Sagittarius info will come into play.
I just pictured you being like Katie Heron at the end of Mean Girls, where you're like, "And a piece for Gretchen Wieners, and a piece for Regina George, and a piece for Janice Ian."
That's
You know,
exactly.
that's Sagittarius season in a nutshell.
Oh, 100%.
So thank you so much for all of that enlightening information, and I hope you join us again on the next episode of
Full
Moon
moon.
Moxie.
I would also just like to add, if any listeners have any ceremonies that they personally do, and they would like to share it with us to share live, I feel like that could be a really good way to connect with our community.
Absolutely. You can email us at fullmoonmoxie@gmail.com. You could also leave us a comment here on Spotify or on YouTube, or you know what? You can just throw it out into the ether and maybe we'll figure it out. And please like and subscribe if you like this podcast. Share it with a friend.